Great. And yeah, so there's a chat box. You can type in where you're from. I can't see you, but you can see me. So I can only communicate you via the chat. Hello, Laura. First time here. Well, welcome to you. Lori from Phoenix. Catherine from Minnesota. Amy from Minnesota. Yes, Amy. And I go way back. But again, this is all new to you, sort of what I've been doing. But I'll give Evie, you're in Greece now. You used to live in Florida, right? Now, Evie, I think. Yes, it's been so long. Now, yeah, it's awesome. Amazing. People from Greece, people from Texas. Only visiting. Oh, it must be so gorgeous. So, hey, you guys should have some water available. That'd be awesome. You guys should have something to write with, pen and paper. I highly recommend. Oceano, California. Thanks for letting me know where you're from. And yeah, that'll be helpful if you have pen and paper and some water. And hey, Jackie. And you're in Santa Barbara, not far from me. I think you've been on a meetup before with me. Love that. Now, let's get comfortable. Hey, you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Nice to see you again as well. And some of you have been with me in the past. We got my fan on. It's kind of a hot summer day. I got already people in the Q&A. Hi. Jim, thank you for saying hello. And you can just use the chat box, which is totally fine. And hopefully we'll have time for Q&A at the end too. Okay. So we're all here to do a little release sabotaging blocks. I'm going to start by sharing my screen too, to make it a little easier. And forgive me, I'm just getting acclimated to the system. So let's share screen and we'll get started. I appreciate your time. All right, so here we are, right where we started. Let me just make sure I still get to see your chat. Where's the chat? Chat box. There you go. Chat box. And very cool. I'm loving this. I hope you're loving this as much as me. Not yet. Okay, so let's start. Today is for you. Thanks for everyone being here, by the way. And I appreciate your time. So we'll get started. We have a lot to cover. It's for you. Today is for you is assuming that you can all see my screen. If you could just let me know if you can see me and hear me and see my screen. Wonderful. Thanks for letting me know in the chat. And so you know that there's more to life, but you feel like there might be an invisible force holding you back. Thanks. And you wish to release those blocks, but hey, you don't know how. Maybe you've tried countless of ways. And methods, law of attraction for one, energy work, healing, whatever, to resolve yourself, but you haven't found that secret sauce to get rid of it once and for all. Or whether you're dabbling in energy work or just getting started, experienced, or maybe you're just curious. I work with people from all levels, depending on, doesn't matter where they start. I work from shamans, psychics, to psychiatrists even, and bartenders. So it does not matter where your starting point is. And yeah, hi Candace, thanks for coming on. Great, so I appreciate you and your time. So here's how do we get the most out of this session. We have the chat box, that's how we communicate. If you could turn off your cell phones, put them away, put them on airplane mode. Everything I'm going to tell you is something that your subconscious mind is already absorbing because your brain can rewire itself. We're not hardwired. When we get new information, we are learning. And I'm going to use visuals because they help absorb the information presented. Your subconscious mind is going to release more with this information presented. So bear with me. I won't tell you anything that's not relevant to your learning today. And some of us learn differently. If you learned like me, I need visuals. So that's why we're using visuals. We all learn differently. And what we'll cover today is a little bit about the backstory, a little about me, how I got started, and the history of this work. We're going to learn the 5 steps to improve your life on every level. I'm going to share the recipe with you. We're going to do a demo presentation experience where you can actually release your blocks today. So if there's at least one takeaway from today, it will be how you can incorporate this work. That's my goal for today. So you can start releasing your sabotaging blocks immediately. Leave here feeling more uplifted, more at ease, more empowered. We're going to teach you how to take your power back and notice kind of where you've been giving it away. So if there's one thing I can help you with, and that's the biggest takeaway, is that I've shared this with you. And we are living in overwhelm and stress, and we don't need it. We don't even realize it's happening. So a little bit about me. Who is me? I'm Galit Rubin. That's how it's pronounced. Galit is an Israeli name, so you may not have known how to pronounce it. And I'm a top coach at Conscious Education Company in Australia. It's a $20 million company that I'm proud to be a part of. I work with one-on-one clients there and groups with over 2,000 members in it. I've been a success and wellness seeker, implementing all kinds of healing, wellness, and self-development modalities for over 30 years, trying to overcome my own abusive past. So I've studied and worked with many modalities. I'm a founder of a nonprofit for dogs. I've brought it to $500,000. It's fairly small. I've saved 7,000 dogs. I'm very proud of that. And I'm certified reconnective healer. I'm certified in magnetic mind method. I'm one of the first 50 people in the world to be certified in this work. It is not very known, and I've been challenged to bring this to you. I work with all levels of consciousness. I studied, again, many modalities, including health modalities, body ecology, diet, Chinese herbalism, dragon herbs, all sorts of certificates and interests. But because of this system that I'm going to teach you today, as we said, mind, body, spirit is connected. I am able to live a stress-free life filled with joy, filled with love. I have time and freedom, and I live life on purpose. I live in a resort town of Ojai, California with the love of my life, Daniel. I live with my 3 dogs, 2 cats, 6 chickens, and I am so thankful to have great health, great energy, and be able to do things I love, like hike, travel, and live life on my terms, really. That's why I'm sharing this with you, so you see what's possible and what I've been able to accomplish doing this. And it wasn't always this way. I went from being an abused victim to shedding it all, living my true purpose, as I said, which is to lead by example. My purpose is to lead others through living my life first, of how I preach others should live. So I want you to know what's possible for your life. I was going down the wrong path, leading a stressful, unhappy life until my health began to fail. My adrenals were totally shot until I discovered this work based in energy, intuition, focus, structure, seeing one's blind spots and patterns. So this is me. Amy, you saw me here, right? You were with me when I looked like this. And, this is it. If it's okay to tell you a little bit about my background, I was the awkward child, to say the least. My father, he emigrated from India, thanks. And he emigrated to Israel, where he met my mother, and he abused my mom, my sister, and myself. Not only I learned confused messages as a child, depending on his mood, that I was sometimes smart, beautiful, and loved, and I was sometimes worthless, a worthless whore, and I would amount to nothing. So not to mention that I had to compare myself to my perfect, more beautiful sister, who was smarter and a better student than I was. And all the boys would rather look at her. And having a passive mother who couldn't even protect herself, so how could she protect me or us? Left me feeling alone and not having anyone to turn to. We lived in a sort of tense existence where you could never let your guard down because we weren't free to express our emotions, not knowing what we would set off, when our next onset of uncontrollable rage and when of my father. So it would be something as little as laughing at something you shouldn't have, and you didn't realize you shouldn't have until it was too late, to a minor complaint. There was always stress about money. We felt like outsiders in this Minneapolis suburbs in Richfield, Minnesota. And we were, as immigrants. And because my dad, was never to complete his own education when he left India as a young teen, anyone with degrees in science, engineering, and computers were always put on a pedestal and were seen as heroes. Sean says, oh my God, I heard the same thing from my dad, amount to nothing. And I'm sure we're not the only ones, Sean. Thanks for sharing. And so when we lived in Israel, he had a military career, but his true dream was to live in the US. So he gave everything up and he became a business owner and a business dabbler. He never really got to see major success himself. And so when I left home, when I was old enough, I set out to overcome my childhood wounds. I felt really alone and isolated. People didn't understand what kind of childhood I experienced. It was kind of a secret. And over the years, I tried many different modalities, and some of them are listed here. Maybe you've tried some of these things. It started with traditional therapy. And although it helped me get some things off my chest, it gave me a starting point in life, but it was a beginning of a long journey. So can I get some feedback from you guys? I'm assuming that I'm not the only one who spent my life trying to overcome, right? Am I right? So Sean, you too, I bet. Yeah, Megan says so similar. Thank you guys. Yes, abandonment, wounding, me too, says Candace. Thank you. So, hey, there's no shortage of therapies. And there's certainly no shortage of people seeking help. Everyone is trying to resolve something about themselves. Isn't that true? You or someone you know probably out there doing something to resolve their past and their blocks, right? So I knew there was more in life, but as much hardship as we have growing up, we tend to forget that it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. Our subconscious, yes, you do, Greg. I know you're wonderful in your own way. I think you're chiropractic knowledge, because energy needs unblocking, right? And so as much hardship as we have had growing up, we tend to forget that we focus on the negative, but it wasn't all bad. Our subconscious is actually wired that way. We're wired to hang on to negative more than positive, to focus on so-called negative emotions 5 times more than we do on positive. So despite my father's inability to properly express love or control his triggers, he often consulted with psychics. He went to healers. He took our family to Ayurvedic doctors. But no matter how hard we try not to be like our parents, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Some of it is beneficial, while luckily I didn't pick up those physically abusive traits. I had my own anger and triggers to release. But hey, I am grateful for what I did learn about the metaphysical world. I learned it through my dad. I learned about the law of attraction. I learned about quantum physics. I learned it from him, amazingly enough. But despite the years of psychic healings, the law of attraction books, the Ayurvedic doctors, my dad died alone in renal failure. He had dementia. He had type 2 diabetes. He received dialysis 3 times a week. And at age 74, he passed. My mom left him once my sister and I were old enough, but he passed alone in a chair just like this one. But he was not a happy man despite his constant search for spirituality. He never quite reached it, always in search, never to arrive. And I know I was that way for many years. How many people do you know who went to their graves never to find what they were looking for? Or are you still living in incompleteness or feeling like you're running out of time? People who practice manifestation, healings, meditate, we're often far from our true potential and purpose. So speaking of all of them, some Kate, Kim, all of them, thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for supporting me. And I became a dabbler, forever dabbler, because I was a forever student and career dabbler. Well, what does one become when they're confused about their own identity? I was I the worthy manifester, or was I the person who'd never amount to anything? And so I tried to go from computer science. I tried to go into, that was my degree, to make my father proud, because remember, he put those people on a pedestal. But it quickly became apparent that I didn't have the brain or the heart for it. So feeling completely lost, I became that dabbler. I started things, but I didn't really know what I was good at. I didn't feel like I was good at anything. I went from the hotel industry. That's where I started. I worked really hard and I got promoted really quick. I had so many customer service awards. They even made a special position just for me because I was really good at solving people's problems. But, I got promoted, but I quit. And then I went to advertising and I got promoted there as well. And I quit. I worked in the Hollywood industry and I moved through the ranks from becoming just an on-set person and, taking out the trash to, designing sets and doing movies and reality TV and commercials. And, but I quit. And then I started a baby clothing company when my son was born. And I started selling at trade shows. My friend was actually traveling to New York. I lived in LA at the time. And she's like, oh my God, I just saw a baby wearing your clothes. But what did I do? That's right, I quit. Everything I tried, it felt like I better quit now before I get too deep, before I could witness what real success felt like, because I didn't know what it felt like. So why was I denying myself to move into success? I didn't even know this was happening. Somehow, without realizing, I kept reenacting my childhood scenario that I wasn't worthy of success. Did you ever feel like no matter what, you still don't know enough or to be worthy of really having what you might want? The money, the business, the career, or anything else like a relationship, a perfect body, Megan says all the time. Yeah, so I know I did. And I just didn't realize what was going on because, hey, it was on a subconscious level. So what is it? Unconscious, right? I was not able to put my finger on this. And thanks for your comments. Thanks, Cesar. So I didn't even notice that it was happening. But I always felt like I was a lesser human than everyone else. That's the truth, you guys. And that was, I may have not looked at, but that's how I felt. But somehow my next project was a success. this thing came along where I started a nonprofit dog rescue. I always loved dogs. My dad hated them, and I could never have a pet growing up. So, hey, I learned everything there was about starting a nonprofit by volunteering for another dog rescue. And I started one. And hey, I never had a problem starting things or working hard. It's the keeping them, right? But it took off like a rocket. I just wanted to save a few dogs. Greg, you're the opposite. We all have our thing, right? But what I didn't anticipate is what I created. I created a community of people. And it had a life on its own, not to mention live animals to take care of. And I finally felt worthy of something. But what's my pattern, right? As soon as I see success, I quit, right? There's me in the middle. I wanted to quit, but you know what happened? I mean, who would I give my notice to? I was deep in the thick of it. I literally tried to quit for 9 years. And in the meantime, it kept growing. More staff got hired, more volunteers showed up, more dogs got saved, 7,000 dogs. And it was really hard and stressful with very little nonprofit money, but it made me feel worthy that I created it on a certain level because I was seen as a hero. You know, I needed the outside to let me know that I was worthy. I don't know if that's familiar to you guys, but I counted on other people seeing me worthy to think that I was worthy. I didn't feel like it, but at least other people thought so. But on the outside, you know, I looked like I had the ideal life. Doesn't this look like the ideal life? Look, I was in Live Happy magazine and Huffington Post, right? So on the inside, though, I was a complete stress ball, feeling incomplete, overworked, fearing judgment, not being able to escape my own creation. What I really wanted was just to be happy and fulfilled. Doesn't everyone? I didn't want to feel like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wanted more time freedom. I didn't want to worry about money anymore. I wasn't asking for the moon, but in a way, I was also following my dad's footsteps in terms of leaving this overworked, highly stressed life with money worries, divorce. Yeah, I became a single mom. You know, looks can be deceiving, can't they? And hey, big reveal, I'm not a blonde. See this? I had a client tell me that recently when she saw the photo. She's like, oh, you're not blonde. I'm like, isn't it obvious? But so on the inside, you know, I was headed for a collision course with my health. Again, my adrenals were shot. My bank account was shot. And so were my nerves. You know, I was doing my best to maintain appearances. But why am I telling you all this? Why is this relevant? Because I know I'm not the only one that feels like there's a disconnect between our inside and our outside appearance. Yes, Kim says you're a blonde and it's a state of mind. I know you too. So, right? It's the appearance on the outside to the rest of the world, to social media, to our friends, our family, even the people closest to us, right? It's a front. And here I was again. This slide may look familiar because I set out to heal myself some more. I never really stopped. I bought the idea that there is a dream life over there. At what point, you know, where I wondered, is it really possible? You know, is it worth to continue? Or should I just settle for what I have, forgetting wanting more? It's not possible. Perhaps it's just not possible for me. I saw others winning. I saw people having, but maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe it wasn't to be. And every time I set out to make more money, to have more time, to have more happiness, it felt like I was taking 2 steps back or 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, or, always going back and forth, making money, losing it, making more time, and then finding myself, paying for it later. So it was there was this invisible threshold. So I also got certified in energy work, Chinese herbs. I worked on creating nutrition programs for other people. I joined tons of MLMs for more money. Any MLMers out there, multi-level marketers? I made people run for the hills. But it's funny, I still use all the products that I sold or tried to sell because I really believed in the products, yet I crumbled at the first sign of rejection. I felt so unconfident, and people could smell it a mile away. And I realized something. Seeing all my patterns of never being able to hang on to success, I realized maybe it's me, huh? Maybe it was me all this time. I was the one that's sabotaging myself. Something like deep inside me kept reliving the stories that I wasn't worthy because only people with degrees, engineers, doctors, whatever my dad said, as I learned, were worthy when I was young. I was not that. Therefore, this was subconsciously happening, and it created something that kept me from having what I want. It showed up as different excuses in disguise. Right, Kim? I was the common denominator of it all. I was the victim of my own circumstances and my own worst enemy. So something happened. Something happened once I realized this. I happened to be at the right place at the right time, which never happens to me. You know those people who say, I happen to be at the right place at the right time? I was always envious of those people because I never had that experience. Maybe it's an experience like you're having here, being at the right place at the right time, because you really are. I discovered Christopher Duncan's work, and I started working with magnetic mind method, which is a combination of neuro-linguistic programming, Robert Fritz's work about structure, William Whitecloud's work about creating magic, amazing energy work of Colette Stryker of the MAP method, and what she learned from Dr. Gary Flint. And Dr. Gary Flint was a psychologist who created a technique to work with patients, originally with multiple personalities, successfully through the morphogenic field, enter the energy work, using intuition, muscle testing, in order to read this field that we're all connected through, and learning what was stopping them from being integrated into whole. Okay, so he taught it to Colette, who taught it to Chris, and was built bigger and better from there. So this is where the basic premise comes into play of the law of attraction, that your focus creates your reality. I treated my sabotage with my focus by spending my life to resolve and fix my problems, right? So guess what I got more of? I created my own experience. I created it all with my focus. Once I realized this, everything changed. I realized that I've been going about it all wrong. Pretty much the entire personal development world has gotten it wrong too. I know that's a pretty bold statement. They all focus on what's wrong with you. It's a problem-based structure. First rule of law of attraction: if you believe that we're all energy and vibrational beings, we attract with our focus. So that's really important. Why do so many people who practice the law of attraction still don't have what they want? And another thing they get wrong is that they're incomplete. They may get you to a certain point, right? But the work doesn't stick. Megan says, yeah, thanks, Kim. Truth, she says. And Megan says, that's the most frustrating and demoralizing aspect of my trauma. Thank you for sharing that. That's so true, because you will see the missing links are here in what we're going to learn today. So I see coaches and therapists of all kinds, whether it's a psychologist, whether it's a coach, whether it's a hypnotherapist, whatever it is, all kinds, working on your mindset, working on your brain, working on your emotions. I see healers working on all your energy, right? But they don't work on all aspects of you. There's a synergistic way to have a life that you want, a recipe, so to speak, that contain the right elements, which I'm about to share with you today. The 5 steps of creation. We're not just mind, we're not just body, and we're not just spirit, right? And you hear this being thrown all over the place, mind, body, spirit. It's because they're not separate. So why do we treat them separately to get results? Or perhaps people just do a combination of the two and not the full spectrum of it, right? So like the law of attraction is like being a carrot dangled in front of me, says Lori. Thank you for that share, which is the ego feeling everything outside of me. Love that information. No secret that the law of attraction isn't a law without the keyword action. Love that, Kim. Thanks for your feedback. And yeah, so I hope you guys are with me. We're still connected. Everyone's engaged. Everyone's learning. Everyone's alert, away from distractions, right? Let me know you're awake and getting this in the chat, please. How you doing? Thank you. Thanks, Evie. Thanks, Susie. Thanks, Kim. Hey, I see some regulars. Let's keep coming. Thanks, Candace and Sarah. Love it. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Amy. Brenda, love your feedback. Thank you so much. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Catherine. I love it. I love all your feedback. Awesome, Cheryl. Welcome to you. A lot of us are having a first time experience here. So I'm so excited to share this work. And hey, you know what? I've heard this work over and over and over again. It's like speaking a new language, and we need to be immersed in it. We need to be immersed. So let me ask you a question then. So how many times have you signed up for personal development of some sort, whether it's a book, a program, a weekend, any kind of mindset work or coaching, right? And you came out all pumped, right? Ready to, with your new mindset to take on the world, to take yourself to the next level, right? And about a month in, you find yourself kind of back where you started. You can't keep that feeling anymore. It's gone. You can't even explain it in an elevator pitch. You can't teach it to others, right? You can't repeat what you've learned. You don't remember. You can't pull it out of your own head. All that excitement just fizzled out because we're programmed to stay the same. Okay? We're programmed to stay the same. So what I found is that my focus, my structure, and my power were all misaligned. Everything was just going in the wrong direction. So this allowed me to take my power back once I figured it out, which is what I want to teach and help you take your power back today. With the right tools, we can all be healers. So what happened is through this work, I realized that my wounds, instead of fixing myself, I got to release my wounds, taking back my power instead of being a victim of my circumstances and my past. So my energy and adrenals restored, and my focus improved. My stress and overwhelm diminished. I used to wake up each morning riddled with stress and overwhelm, like, oh my God, there's so much to do. And how am I, it just was like this hamster wheel that I was stuck in, and it just had enveloped me in stress and overwhelm and worry. And it improved my area in every aspect, my mood, my energy, my sleep, my confidence, my relationships improved, my income. I literally doubled it within the first 2 months and tripled it within 14 months. I was able to even laugh more, and I stopped reacting to life, and I started creating it. And I became a certified magnetic mind coach. And upon graduating, I was asked by Chris Duncan to be on his team, to coach his group and his private clients. I'm currently one of 2 staff coaches taking on one-on-one clients, which I'm very proud of. The company has since grown to $20 million and you know, from the couple of thousand sessions I performed and speaking with so many clients, I created my 12-month program called I Am Super Conscious. It's a transformational program to hone in on all that I've witnessed people release. And so we have a 12-month program journey incorporating this work with my own work. I work with humans and animals, and some of my previous energy learning incorporated in there. Thanks, Kim. And, you know, even when this photo was taken over 2 years ago, even now, I feel like a different person from then. Even though release started immediately, like you're going to start immediately releasing today, I look and feel younger today than the day I started this journey, and continue to grow and expand. I just took down all my certificates, all that stuff, put them away. Hey, I only need one. Megan says, oh yes, let it be true. Can I ask, this is, and thank you for saying this. Can I ask those of you who've experienced this work to comment for Megan, who've worked with me, who've worked with Magnetic Mind, who just put in, what do you guys think? Is this true? I'll let you guys speak for yourself. And look, here are some success stories here. This is one of my clients, Nikki. Yeah, why am I getting silence? Tracy, thank you. There we go. Very true. I love this work. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Kim, your complete success story. I know it. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Rebecca. I have your testimonial right here, Rebecca. I received this beautiful message from Rebecca the other day. Galit, you've helped me beyond measure, and truly, I'm a better person for it. I love who I am for the first time in my life. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. I'm embracing everything as it comes. Thank you. Yeah. And so Nikki, you know, she was a clerk at a shop when I started working with her. She lives in Wales. Her dream was to have her own shop, and never thought it was possible. She's a piercer. And within less than a year, she opened her own shop. She now has her own staff, and she's expanding to the 2nd floor. And she's also bodybuilding, and she's learned acupuncture to add to her business offerings. Go, Nikki. And here's Angela. I received this text from her one morning out of the blue. She trains Kentucky Derby racehorses. So she had to travel a lot, leave her dogs behind, pay rent to a place she wasn't even using. And her dream was to just train horses while being able to live with her dogs wherever she, you know, have them with her. And she was afraid to let go and change. And, you know, I got this thing. She made it work. She lives a life she loves on her terms. Thank you, Susie. Yeah, Susie, you've been doing this work a very short while. Look at this. Things happening, things aligning in your life. This is from a client who couldn't sleep. She was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. We did a couple sessions, and boom, she sends me this text out of the blue. Look at how I slept. She's better even now. So yes, it's true. And here's some things, like I work with people, again, from all walks of life. I work with shamans, I work with psychics, I work with real estate agents, to crypto traders, to bartenders, to high achieving executives. I've worked with Fortune 500 execs. This works for everyone. Hey, you have a subconscious mind. Guess what? It also works for animals. I work with cats, dogs, horses. And I do that at a discount. And I'll be creating a group next year. I'm trained in animal communication. I've also worked with clients releasing grief of loss. Is someone here that I worked with grief of loss of their pet? Pet died unexpectedly. And, hey, I release grief, not just from pets, but, I've experienced a lot of loss of pets, which, I didn't realize that we harbor such deep grief from the loss of pets and our loved ones. But all I'm saying is we experience more loss of pets than we do humans for the most part. So lots of grief there. All right. So do you guys notice there's a very big problem? Enough about me. Let's really talk about the problem. Have you noticed that most people are sick, stressed, unhappy, reacting to life rather than living it. Okay. Right? How you guys doing? Stopping my share for a minute, give you guys a break to look at my beautiful self. Like we hope our own children. Yes, Tracy, thank you. See, Tracy says, I helped her when she lost her dog, and I appreciate your comment, and it does work. I helped myself, really. I didn't realize how much I was harboring. But, you know, we want our children to thrive and not have the same hardship and stresses as we did, right? And our parents wanted better for the generations before them, right? So to help them build confidence and self-esteem. And we blame social media, cancel culture. Isn't it true that I have hair in my mouth? Sorry, that's probably creeper hair, my cat. Speaking of animals, isn't it true that everywhere we turn, there's like another problem? It's the education system. It's the parents. It's the politician. It's religion. It's the billionaires. It's the pandemic. It's my upbringing. It's my parents. It's my genetics. It's the pharmaceutical industry. Everywhere you look, there's an enemy to blame. So do you agree with that? Isn't there, everywhere you look, there's an enemy? I'm going to share something on my board here. We all have a current reality where we are now, but we all want something in the future, a desired reality. We want better health, more money, more wealth, better body, better relationships. You could put anything here, better career that you love. The future, the belief is that the future will be better than the now. And we strive to get that, right? We go for it. Maybe we go back to school. Maybe we go to a gym. Maybe we go on a diet. Maybe we join a dating thing. Maybe we go to some therapy. Maybe we take some classes. Maybe we start a business, right? So we get part way, and then something happens. We quit for one reason or another. We don't make it. We ran out of time. We ran out of resources. We changed our mind. We thought it was too hard. Oh, it's not for me, right? It could be anywhere along this line. I don't know if this has happened to anyone else, but somehow we stop, whether we lose it inadvertently or on purpose. Something happens. You get busy. Someone else needs you. You must take care of others. Something pulls you out. Some sort of excuse. So there's like 3 scenarios: that you're stuck, or that you might get it. You might even get all the way here and then lose it. You might get halfway and then lose it. You might have this for weeks, months, even years, and then wind back at ground zero. That's a structure. How many times have you found yourself either in a stuck structure, in an oscillating structure, right? One of the two, or flowing structure is what we want, but a structure is 2 aspects working together, 2 or more aspects working together. That's a structure. And we talk a lot about structure in this work. How is this landing with everyone? This every day, says Jackie. And Juniper, yeah, it's easy to get distracted with self-sabotage, right? Rebecca says this happens to me. Yeah. And so let's keep this moving. I'm going to, it's like there's this unknown force that keeps you pulling you back, right? So you see the oscillation, you see the stuckness. So I'm going to share my screen again. Here we go. Let's go over here. This is where we're going to talk about the 3 levels of consciousness. Remember that we are energy beings, and we have a higher self. We call it superconscious. We also know these as memories. We have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind, and we must work from all of these aspects together, as we said, but the subconscious actually runs most of the show. Great info. Oh, Candace says, what does the current reality and here it's current reality in the now, current, and your desire, something you would love to create. Okay, thanks for asking. And I'm glad because you may have clarified it for other people who maybe didn't want to ask. So let's talk about starting with the human journey. This is kind of a controversial topic, right? When the spirit enters the body right now. But hey, there's a hypnotherapist, his name is Michael Newton. He wrote a book called Journey of Souls, and he spent like 20 years talking to his clients, taking them back in time to the womb and to find out when the spirit entered their body. And their story was kind of consistent. And most reported that the spirit is in and out from the womb and body until 6 months of age, until the baby is born, 6 months of age, because there was nothing to do. But here, look at this. All our needs are met. We're not hungry. We're not cold. We're kept safe. There's nothing for you to do but just grow automatically. You're not doing any work. You're just, you're a pure creative spirit in a body, in and out. But your subconscious is now being formed, right? Now, subconscious is like a supercomputer. There's no computer in the world that can hold as much memory and information as your subconscious. Think of it like a iceberg, a submerged iceberg that we don't see. We can say this is your conscious mind, this is your subconscious. Most of your memory is unseen, but it runs the function of your body. When you get in a car, you don't have to relearn how to drive a car. Most of the driving being done, all the controls and stuff is happening subconsciously. You automatically recall where that is. Same with riding a bike. You may have not ridden for a while, you get on, but your subconscious recalls the learning. So we say this is your reptilian brain, your primitive brain. It's supposed to, its real primary job is really to keep you safe and alive. Guess why? For the survival of the species. That's why we say it's a primitive reptilian brain for your evolution of our species. And then, of course, we have the conscious mind. Let's not forget the third memory, the conscious mind. Well, actually, the second memory, because we haven't gotten to the third memory. It's your eye. It actually develops only around 5, 6, 7, depending. So it develops later. We become self-aware. Before that, it's really, we're just absorbing sponges in the subconscious. So think of it like a desktop computer or the tip of the iceberg that's holding a lot less information. If you need information, you can recall that in the subconscious when needed to keep you safe, to, oh, what is going on? I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. There we go. So, it doesn't fully form till later, but the conscious is judging. It sees things as good or bad, black and white. It's designed to do that because in primitive times, you had to identify who was friend, who was foe for your own survival, right? So that judgment to be able to recognize danger was built in. Yeah, some of us remember when we became self-aware. But the conscious mind seeks pleasure and avoids pain. It's going for more quality in life. It makes decisions, or it thinks it makes decision, but it reasons and it lets you know how it is, right? But here is that superconscious, your higher self, is a pure creative spirit in your human body. We are a spirit having a human experience. You are completely whole already. Your spirit has been with you throughout all lifetimes. It's always been present. You can call it higher self. You can call it id, Akash. You can call it source, or you can call it Bob. It doesn't matter. It's just the energy, right? That is you. And it's just here for creating. It's just here for an experience. It doesn't judge. It doesn't judge whether you're good or bad, right or wrong. It doesn't think you are better than someone else. We're all equal. We're all spirit. We're all the same energy. Juniper says, wow, I never heard it like that. So amazing. Keeps the species alive. Amazing creatures we are, aren't we? Megan remembers she was 5. Yeah. So always present, higher self. We're here. It's just here for an experience. You chose to be born into the here and now in this lifetime to your family for a human experience, for your expansion. This is more you than the you in all your in this lifetime. It's more you. It's been with you throughout creation, and it never dies. Does that make sense? It never dies. It's not like, you know, the limited conscious mind that goes when you're dead, the subconscious that starts in the womb and leaves when you're dead. It is, or ends. It is always. And it never judges. It talks to you through your heart, through your gut. It sends you messages. It's always speaking in loving words to you, never judging you, ever. But then something happens. The spirit, right? We're here. Remember this? This was all nice and cozy, but boom, you're born. And it's quite a shock. It's quite a shock to the system. There's a lot of work for your subconscious mind to learn here. You quickly learn that not all your needs are automatically met in order to survive. You must be fed. So you have to cry to be fed. And you have to get, you know, crying gets you change. It keeps you warm. It makes you feel nurtured. You learn what you need to do in order to survive. Your subconscious is imprinting this information. But then we make up beliefs to resolve our pain as we grow. More things are imprinting in the subconscious. The need to belong to your family, your tribe, is deeply ingrained for our survival. We will do anything not to be rejected by those who care for us, for our essential needs to survive. So we try to be more worthy, so they'll take care of us. We try to be a good boy or girl. Our survival absolutely depends on this. Perhaps crying doesn't seem to get very far anymore. Suddenly, you know, it might be frowned upon. So we figure out how to be. If I'm good, I'll be worthy of mom's love. If I'm quiet, maybe I'll get dad's approval. We make it up. It's different for everyone. In our household, it's all different, similar but different. So what beliefs did you make up to resolve your pain? I must be, you know, the story of the young you. What can you remember about your childhood, of how you learned to be? If I'm good at sports, I'll be worthy of dad's respect. I must love what he's into. Thanks, Kim. Yeah. So think about that. I want you guys to think. You guys are welcome to share. What was your learning, your wounding, as we call it? We call it wounding by individuation. This is what got coded in for you. It must be awful, the fact that I chose to be born, ruin other people's lives. Hey, you know, it's not your fault. None of this is our fault. Aren't we working perfectly? Our subconscious mind is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So let's not take it personally. We're all in the same boat. We're all just working perfectly. Yeah. So just think about that. And I appreciate your shares. I must be perfect, says Shaf. Bad coding. That's the beliefs, right? That's the beliefs. I need to, pardon me. I needed to turn something on in the house. So we make up beliefs to resolve our pain. If I, you know, and it goes like, we learn how to get along in our tribe too, right? As we grow older, we must be in community. As we grow older, you know, we're communal species, aren't we? So we have to learn how to get along. I must give up my stuff to belong. I must belong more. right? We learn, and it's not all bad, right? Some of it is very beneficial to us. And we make up the beliefs to resolve our pain. We say things, I survived mom and dad fighting, all sorts of hardships in our family. I survived my parents arguing, my money problems, our family's troubles. That was normal. Jealousy, normal. We absorbed and took that information unconsciously of what was happening in our household. We could have survived all sorts of hardships. We didn't know it. We didn't know what it was, but chances are that you could tell the difference from the energy in your house when there was tension, fear, anger versus love. So as the subconscious gets this, it gets coded in and becomes our world. It becomes our familiar world. But what is the job of the subconscious? Is to keep us safe. How does it know what's safe? How does it know? If you survived it, then it's safe. If it's familiar, it's considered safe. There might be nowhere else to go. Learned helplessness is formed. There's a saying that goes, in a family of thieves, the honest child feels guilty. So in my case, I survived abuse. My subconscious mind codes in that it's safe. And guess what? It grows up to seek what is familiar. You survived this, therefore it's safe. It didn't kill you, but you survived this. Izara says, I had a breakthrough today, was that I mustn't wet the bed at age 3. So I was waking up in the night as an adult now. Now I let go of that. Awesome. Well, we haven't done the process yet, Izara. So you get to let some of that go today. So you survived it. This for is safe. I wet the bed for a very late age myself. Now that you bring that up. Oh, we're all so similar, aren't we? Yeah. So we survived scarcity. Therefore, it's safe. We survived working hard. Therefore, it's safe. We survived abuse. It's safe. We survived life of stress and illness. The child gets wounded. The child can't escape. The emotions of shame, which is common. Parents shame children for all kinds of reasons. They have good intentions, but it creates toxicity, toxic shame. It creates fear of losing our very belonging, our very existence. But you don't die from it. Chronic pain may hurt, but you don't die from it. The 2-year-old being shamed feels like you're losing the belonging of your family. Shame, guilt. The child survives. So in order to survive, the child now thinks, I should go find places to be shamed and not die from it. How crazy is that? It becomes the agenda. The brain looks for circumstances that it can survive in. We're such funny primitive creatures, aren't we? So it survived no money. We didn't die from that. If anything is unfamiliar, it's not safe. It doesn't know if those, those things that consciously you want, the money, the relationship, whatever, the abundance, the love, if it's unfamiliar in that time where you are absorbing in the subconscious from age 0 to 7 or 4 even, it gets coded in. And if it's outside of that, it's unsurvivable. So it just has you find more of the same. You won't die from it, but you made up how life should be. And you look to recreate those experiences your entire life. Huh. So same familiar equals safe. Yep. I love some of your aha moments. And so belonging is essential to a child, right? A family of thieves, the honest child feels guilty. We cannot escape it. We develop coping mechanisms, learn helplessness, suppressed emotions in order to belong more. And these patterns get locked in and are part of your personality today. There's nothing wrong with you, even if it's a part of your personality, because remember, there's no judgment on this. It's just you're human, and therefore that's why it is. But famous musicians, football players, lottery winners, right? What happens to them? Most of them actually go broke or have problems with handling their fame, money, or both, right? We know this. You see it everywhere. Their subconscious must go pretty high, like haywire, don't you think? And so we make up these 6 core wounds. There's more. These are the 6. And everyone can identify with one or more of these until we release them. So the first one and most common is I'm not worthy enough. So you might go for something that you love, like I did with all those businesses, and I never felt worthy of success. It was coded in me, okay? I'm not good enough. Someone that has to always keep learning and getting more certifications, PhDs, and go learning that to prove that they're good enough. So they keep getting those certificates, but they never quite feel good enough because it's embedded in the subconscious. Then I'm not significant enough, like always going for more significant. And it can go either way. Like you could be really shy and quiet and in the background. I used to have this too. Or you could be really flashy, like need to be seen because, you know, you never felt important or noticed or heard, or, you know, so you're either going for some significance, trying to resolve it, or just, you know, identifying as not significant. And so not capable, never having the resources, never being able to do things on your own, never be able to start things, never going for things, always needing permission, right? Always feeling lost, hard to start, not even knowing what you want because you're not capable of that. And how about the perfectionist who's never perfect enough, starting and restarting and redoing and have, you know, always saying, I'm going to launch that video. Oh, but it's never good enough. Oh, I'm writing that book, but I'm never going to publish it because it's never going to be good enough. Why do people write books for 10 years? It's never perfect enough, right? I don't belong enough. This is really big as well. Friendships, relationships, can't be alone. Judgment is so important. What other people think. Whew. And most of us have this because the need to belong is very essential to our survival, right? So this is it. It's not about, you know, this is your egoic agenda, is you go and try to resolve this your entire life. So in order to have what I want, I must deserve it. The only way to deserve it, I must help others. I put everyone else first to show that I'm worthy of it. And then you wonder why you're ill, right? Why aren't my needs met? You're in resentment. Why is it when I do everything for everyone else, no one comes to my aid, right? So it can end up holding a lot of resentment, which is very unhealthy. Money doesn't need you to deserve it, does it? It's just a measurement made up by humans. Aren't the rich people in the world, you know, who think that they don't deserve it? Can you think of like all kinds of people who, you know, they create good karma in the bank? Like, how's that working for all these people with those bumper stickers and their good karma? You know, they have the worst cars. So that is, it's not about karma, right? If you're trying to be worthy, if you are it means that you're not worthy. So here's what we end up doing. We spend our entire lives trying to resolve them. So we spend our entire life operating from a mindset of a 7-year-old. And I'm going to say that again, because I want this to sink in. We spend our entire lives operating from a mindset that's locked in of a 7-year-old, probably even earlier. We are like this. This horse represents a great metaphor of our childish perspective. This horse was likely tied to something when he was very small and weak. And he's now programmed not to be in his power, not to know his own power. Isn't that true? Another whammy for you is that these woundings aren't just ours. They're also passed down by the DNA from our family tree, our traits, triggers, as survival mechanisms. Yay, more woundings. That's not even ours. Also from past lives. What about our past lives? Like, has anyone seen that Netflix show about past lives? I think it's called Surviving Death. And it was a great story about this young man who kept remembering things from the Korean War when he was a child, and he was a pilot, and he was all into pilot like warplanes. And he knew the place where he died. He knew the names of his people, who his friends, because our higher self, our soul, as we said, is always with us, but it's always through expanding through lifetimes. Isn't it fair to say that we have memories from the past lives, and maybe they haven't integrated fully in this lifetime and they're more prevalent? Kim's like, I can't take any more negative beliefs. I ran into this article on Apple that, it was an example of how we're impacted by trauma while in the womb. Even if the mother experiences trauma in the womb while she's pregnant, this vibration will imprint on the child. It's measured. We carry imprinting from our ancestors about at least 7 generations deep. That was measured. Not just trauma that happens during pregnancy. We pass on those traumatic experiences through DNA. So we've known that for a while. It's the major premise of this work, to let that go. It's influencing you in a way that's stopping you from having all sorts of things. Think of family traumas, past wars, hardships, Great Depressions, pandemics. So let's unpack this. And is everyone with me? I just want to make sure that this is sinking. And, we work on family constellation. So here's just a recap, okay? This is the human journey, as we call it. Okay, we went from here, you started learning how it is, it got coded in, and then you're just reliving that pattern. We're stuck here, right? And that applies for everything in life. Apply this to health, career, relation, everything. So let me just show you here on the board what happens. Thanks, Sean. So let's say you want something. You want more money. You want more love. You want better body and health. You want a career that you love. But you're over here. You start making your way. The I'm not is down here. In the subconscious, you don't notice it. But this is unsafe to the subconscious. So what does it do? It sees it as life and death, literally. The reptilian brain sees it as life and death. So you move towards this, and this sees this as a danger. And so it creates sabotage. Like, oh, you got to be over here. Oh, this is you didn't like that anyway. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, you better quit. Oh, you're not enough. Oh, you're not worthy of that. Who do you think you are? Oh, that's for other people. Oh, right? Is that familiar? It's an invisible force you can't see, always pulling you back from having it. And it'll always be like this until you let this go, because the subconscious is the one that's running the show. All right. Oops. Where are you guys? Let me share my screen again because I want to show you more. Sorry, I'm running out of time. Let's go fast. Here we go. There's just another way we're influenced, which is something called, ever heard of this? Another whammy for you. It's the term psychoneuroimmunology. So a study of emotions that affect our own immune system. So there's plenty of studies in the medical world that show how emotional health and physical health are impacted together. So most doctors don't make this connection or even ask their patients about their emotions, not just in the present day, but from all the way back to their childhood and the family. And they prescribe medications, and all sorts of treatments without getting to the root, which is your emotions. We call it PNI for short. And all these articles you can find about, the examples of all the actual things. It can lead to cancers. It can, stress can really, create cardiac disease. Oops, there we go again. I'm so excited. I'm going quick. And so all kinds of disease, depression linked to psoriasis, my study of nutrition, that's also linked to candida, overgrowth in the gut, right? Which links to gut-brain connection, so many more. Emotions play a huge role. They play in lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, colon cancer, lung cancer, ovarian cancers, ALS. The research is there, but the medical industry, hey, doesn't want you to connect the dots so much. So people know it, but it's not emphasized as it should. So, hey, in my opinion, they want to keep you sick, but yeah, resentment. It's stuck in our bodies. So think about when we were young, our parents, noticed these emotions and we got in trouble for them. They say, you got in trouble for being angry or scared or, apprehensive about something. Don't be ridiculous, or what would others think, that you're ungrateful. We don't intend to affect others, but it might be a consequence. So this can become a conditional response. Remember, the child seeks approval from the parents. It means everything to survival. So we learn to suppress those emotions, and as learned conditioning for future interactions in the world with others and relationships. Emotions, they can be categorized like, whether others can see it on us and whether we're aware of it or not, but it could be up to a level where we're not even aware of it. No one is aware that these emotions are chronic. It's that we're in constant fight or flight response, not aware. And that's very dangerous, because it's like we notice that our lungs are not even taking a deep breath. They're in fight or flight response, right? And we're always kind of reacting to life. We have no, we're trying to control because we're in fear. And, we're always in perceived threat. Think of the gazelle that's in the wild and with the pack, and a danger comes, like a lion or a cheetah, right? And they all go into fight and flight and they all flee. And what happens is that they flee, they go into flight, so all their systems shut down for the survival of the species. So they can use all their energy to get away. Once one is caught, what do they do? What does the pack of gazelles do? What does the herd do? You know what? They go back to grazing. They don't stay in fight or flight, so their immune system can run the functions again. We find immune cells all over our body. They exist in every part of your body. But the built-in emotions, they're good for you. They have a purpose. Rage is good for you. Mama bear needs to have rage, right? To fend off danger, anger, fear. It has its place and purpose. It should not have to be suppressed if we're whole and it knows when it's needed. So the big mistakes that we make is being in the wrong tension structure, focusing on the problem rather than giving the power away. So this is what I mean by structure. We're victims, okay? And I just want to show you here that this is a structure with our focus that we're trying to resolve. When we focus here, what do we get more of? That's why it's a structure focusing on the problem. Now is not good enough. What we need is to be it, to see it. That is the truth. We must learn to be happy now, to feel like we would feel over here. We think that we'll feel better here, but the truth is, if we don't feel like we think we'll feel here, we'll never have it. We'll always, the law of attraction will push it away. That's how it works. And so this structure will never work, will never resolve itself. Okay, that is the truth. So what we'll do, we have to go on a higher level of consciousness. Now, to learn how to do that, let's go here. This is what we do. We recode. That's what we do here. We release energetically the old, the subconscious wounding. We do it for the highest good. We ask, we connect to your energy field through your superconscious field, and we give it instructions. You have to set your intention of what you want, and then we give it instructions with your permission, and we start releasing the old, and we start reorientating. And when I say reorientating, you remember that you're a pure creative spirit in a human body having a human experience, not a human trying to have a spiritual experience. It's the other way around. We've gotten it wrong. Okay, you are the creator. You create your experience when you take back your power. Stop reacting to life and you become creating what you want with your energy, with your focus, with your structure. The world is focused on problems. War on this, war on that, this problem, that problem. Politicians do it, schools do it. This is how we're conditioned. But it's the wrong structure. We'll never break out of this until we change. How do we change that? We don't have to change. Remember, we're perfect, right? We just have to release and reorientate. Okay, what's down belief? That's the programs. We just get rid of the programs that are not serving. So what's the solution? It's a system that I'll show you today to release your woundings, your suppressed emotions from childhood, your past lives, your ancestors no longer serves you. The traumas, the triggers, the repressed emotions, while keeping you aligned in the right structure, based in creation, focusing on what you want, not on what you don't want. And it's done in the fastest way possible with the least amount of work. Yes, it takes a lot less time, right? We release those childish wounds because, we're living with these fears that served us as a child, that were keeping us safe then, where we were told, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? And as a child, you accepted that you weren't allowed to do many things. And hey, it served us as children, but that's still coded in you from stopping you from just having what you want. You think something is telling you that you're not allowed. What's the difference between the person that's allowed and the person that isn't allowed, right? Like, you're not less or more worthy than someone else who's doing it. So we do it with the 5-step. I call it the carrot system. How do you like my little diamond I put there for you to remember? So the first one is we choose what we want. We're creative spirits. We can just choose whatever it is we want to create in life, right? We don't have to be computer scientists because our father wants us to, right? We don't. We could just create whatever is in our hearts. That's our true nature and purpose, whatever it is we want for ourselves. So we must learn how to be in true choice because we can get it wrong. We align with the emotion. The emotions are really important. I'll teach you how to do all this. We release what's in the way energetically. I just give some commands through your superconscious field and we release it. And then after that, hey guys, guess what? We have to take an action. Jacqueline, you're asking if there's access to the PowerPoint. This is being recorded. I may release it, but the free gift is, hey, you guys are going to, if you do the process, you will get a free week. That's my gift to you today. If you've never been in this work, you get a free week. So you must take the action to manifest after. You can't just release. You're just a feather floating in the wind. You must do something, right? And then you transform. You just see those woundings be released, right? So let's do it. Let's start. We're going to do the process. Before we do every process, we do the same thing. We choose what we want. Now, there's a way to really get it wrong. You have to learn how to be in true choice. To be in a true choice, you can't choose indirectly. You can't choose for someone else. You can't choose it in a limited perspective. You can't. I will teach you all these. However, today I'm going to choose for you because I'm a pro, and trust me. If you trust me, I'll choose for you. Today we're going to choose something very important. Okay? We're going to choose to be the predominant creative force in our lives. Do you guys know what that means? I want everyone to say it to yourself. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that like you have to force anything. It means you take back your power Remember, the pure creative spirit in a human body is just a creator here for a human experience. That is really who you are. You just forgot. And Candace says, instead of living by default, you're not in reaction. Life isn't happening to you, okay? You're happening to life. You're the captain of your ship. You're the master of your domain, and you are the driver of your car. So you're not forcing anything on anybody. You're not physically having to be powerful. You take back your inner innate power that is your birthright. So I want everyone to say that, whether it's to yourself or, your voice holds vibration. It's not a bad thing to just say it out loud if you can, but just choose it and that choice. Remember, we're not trying to be the predominant creative force. We're not hoping. We're choosing, as a pure creative spirit is allowed to choose, right? You're allowed to choose your destiny. So the next thing we're going to do is get into the emotion of it. We chose something. Next, we are aligning. We must feel it first. We must play full out, because we must teach our body. Did you know that your body doesn't know whether you're actually experiencing something or imagining that you're experiencing something? When you go into the emotion of what it would be what it would feel like to have what you want, your body can't tell the difference of what's happening. So you're literally training your cells. It's starting to happen right now. We train our cells of our body, what it's like to feel it. The more we do this and the more often, guess what the subconscious learns? It learns that it's safe. So let's choose to be we're doing this together. Everyone play full out. This is for you. What would it be like? Even pick a character if you don't know, like Wonder Woman or Superman, like if you don't know what it's like. Or, a young, like I used to love Mighty Mouse, pick Mighty Mouse. And whatever it is for you, choose. I choose to be the predominant creative force and feel it on the inside in your solar plexus. Take back your power. And just breathe into that. Really, take time to do this and play full out. Don't be embarrassed to allow yourself. I know we weren't allowed to dream. We weren't allowed to waste time, right? How even Diana was a tool of fate. Well, all right, Amy, I'll catch you later. Good question. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. And you're choosing to take the power back inside of you. Right? Because we're all in charge of us. No one's in charge of you. You're in charge of you. And you're taking that power back. You're not a victim of anything and anyone. Take it back. Step into that own innate power. And know that you are a powerful creative spirit in a human body. And notice how that would feel. How does that feel? Being the predominant creative force. I want you to tell me, put it in the chat. Never skip this step. You're teaching your body, you're teaching your subconscious that it's safe to have this. Otherwise, the subconscious will reject it. You must be it to see it, right? It feels freeing. I love that. How else does it feel? We have meditations in the program to help you accept this end result. Helps me feel large. I love that. What a great description. Freeing, large. Keep going, you guys. Let's hear all your comments. Greg says, I actually feel nauseous. It's unfamiliar for you. And thanks for sharing that. So let's take it where it feels good. Can you find a time in your life where you looked up to someone and you're like, wow, this person can just have what they want. And you admired that. Go to a feeling of that. Okay. We don't want you choosing to feel nauseous, right? So choose where it feels, choose a moment in time that you remember, or someone you look up to. Not everything that they do, but like, oh, wow, these people, they just do whatever they want. They have, they're able to do what they love. They just go for it. They're in their power. So make sure you find something that you can align with like that. Samantha from Bewitched, love her. Love the walk in the forest meditation. The flash, expansive, limitless. It feels natural, like knowingness, connected. Thank you for all this. It feels light. I love all this information. So you're allowing your body to feel into being the predominant creative force and what it would feel like. And it might not be super real. It might not be super easy to access. That's why we're doing this. It's okay. But try and feel it as much as you can. I feel fulfilled, says Adeline. I feel exciting, Carrie. Future ecstatic self, breath of divine. Love your comments. So we're going to do the release, but first we must feel what it's like now compared to that, right? So what's it like? So we are choosing the desired reality here. Okay. Desired reality, being the predominant creative force. That's our choice today. But in the here and now, you might feel different. There's a tension structure happening. How does it feel like in the now compared to that end result? We must acknowledge this for our system to work in the best way possible. So again, we're playing full out. It's allowed to say, hey, how does it feel in the now? It feels scary, says Jen. Thanks for sharing that. And you're just typing that to me, by the way, if you want to type to everything. Feels, yeah. Oscillating for sure, apprehensive, feels far and out and complex, disconnected, in the now stuck, confusing. Great information, you guys. Thanks for acknowledging. You notice that it's different. Slow, says Sean. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for playing full out. Now feels insecure, sad, overwhelming. So we're acknowledging the difference, and I'm sorry I am going over time, but I'll go as fast as possible. But this process is very important. We're going to next understand what's in the way. What's in the way, you guys? What's in the way of having that? Why can't you have it? What do you believe? Why can't you just have this with ease? Like, why are you not feeling it now? Feels like a loss. Overwhelmed, yeah. Well, what's in the way? What do you believe about that? What judgments do you have about yourself? Forces beyond my control. Great information. Yeah, we just bring it up to the active experience so we can let it go. What other judgments? What would others think of you if they saw you in your power? Right? Wow, what would you believe about yourself? Is it even possible? Who will be impacted if you are in your power, whether positively or negatively? Right? What do you stand to lose? What stories and excuses will you have to not have anymore? And is that uncomfortable? What old stories of I'm not enough to have this, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not capable, I'm not significant enough. Do you see? It's okay if you can't seem to answer the questions. Is there a feeling that's different, and recognize those feelings? I'm a joke and lofty. Yeah, it's like, what were you told when you were young? You can't have this because you don't know enough, or who do you think you are, or whatever it is, or others come before you. It's dangerous to hold your power. What if others know that you have the power, or whatever it is, all kinds of weird things. You can feel the difference. That's good. Now feeling of hope when I see the solution. Good. And fear, I can't, I don't deserve to have this because I couldn't help my son. He died. Yeah, so there's guilt there, right? And we can carry that, but I bet you did your best, and I'm sorry. And thanks for sharing. Now, we just bring everything up and let's do the demo. Let's do it. And we're going to do a recode is what we call it. And think of it like a river of desire. do you see these boulders? Like you want to flow towards your end result. You're here, but you want your end result is here. Like you're going to be the predominant creative force in your life when you get down there. But see these boulders, they're stopping you. You can't go any further. And in the treatment, I talk to your superconscious like a person. I give it instructions. It takes about 20 minutes and we just release what's in the way so you can just flow with ease. And guess what? The replays work. If you're watching the recording of this, it also works, which is super cool. But on a scale of 0 to 10 in your river of desire, 0 means there's no boulders. You could just flow to it. 10 is like, these boulders are really big. There's no way I can get there. I want you to give this a number of your resistance. What is the number that you feel is your resistance level? Okay. Give it a number of a scale of 0 to 10. 0, no resistance. 10, the most resistance. Like there's no way I can't feel like I can be the predominant creative force. We got 8, 10, 10, 5, 5, not safe. Yeah. And you just call it a number. I got a 9.99765. Thank you guys. Thanks for all your numbers. Sean's a 10 plus. Yeah, and so we notice this is just a measurement for you to acknowledge. I appreciate all your shares. And now let's do the process. Okay. And we're going to release. And I just want you to understand what's going to happen here, just so your subconscious can have the understanding. Okay. Everyone with me? So remember, we're going for this, but we have all this tension down here. But hey, look, you're a pure creative spirit in a human body. I'm a pure creative spirit in a human body. There's like a field of energy. It's a morphogenic field around me, around you, and there's even a higher field that connects all of humanity. You're connected with your family through a field, all of humanity. With your permission, I connect through muscle testing and intuition and energy right here. And you set your intention. I give the commands. And it feels, some people say it feels like yawning as we shift energy. Some people say it feels like tingling, sometimes like random thoughts go through. It's a closed eye process. You don't have to go into any trance or anything. You just sit and listen passively. That is literally it. That's why I say it's so easy. That your superconscious will pull out what it needs to for the highest good today. It doesn't change you completely, because no one will be comfortable with themselves if they just suddenly like, oh, I'm all of a sudden this different person. Even though we consciously say we want that, we really don't. We really don't. We won't know what to do with ourselves. So whatever happens is for the highest good. It is an innate super intelligence. It's all knowing. Okay. And so it knows what to do, what you're ready for, and it's subtle. And the truth is, it is subtle. And when you leave here today, the shifts are subtle. You know how like you take a painkiller and, for some mild pain, you took some Advil and then you're like going about your business and suddenly you're like, oh, I don't feel that pain anymore. I don't even remember when it left. It's kind of like you go through life and something that may have triggered you before may have stopped triggering you. But we do this in a repetitive process. That's why we literally do this for a year, ideally, but we do it every week. And you start releasing right away, immediately. So let's do it. So all you need to do is I give Galit permission. And again, I'm sorry, I'm going over. Webinars are not my thing yet. I've been challenged to do this webinar with you and I'm new to it. And they said an hour and a half, and boy, either I'm wrong or they're wrong. I don't know. I can speed things up somehow, but the process will take 20 minutes. I appreciate it. So all you need to do is say, I give Galit permission to access my superconscious. We're going to close our eyes. I'm going to give you permission, or you're going to give me permission. I'm starting to get wacky here. If you say so. I don't think so. I don't know. Am I? So we're going to close our eyes. Give me permission. And again, I want to tune into being the predominant creative force again. And let's put all that resistance that all the excuses and all the reasons in a bubble, like in an imaginary bubble. Just close your eyes and just listen passively. And I speak to your superconscious like a person. I give it commands. Okay. So the first thing to do is I ask superconscious if we're connected. Everyone here is connected. Good. Everyone in replay, if I release this, everybody in replay is connected. So set your intention to be the predominant creative force in your life. Notice how it would feel, and notice the now. Superconscious, we're connected. Do you see this choice of being the predominant creative force in your life? Yes. Do you see the resistances that come up in the active experience, known and unknown? Let's bring it all up and let's create a perfect treatment plan for the highest good in the fastest way possible for everyone here in the replay. Please treat all the priorities from all timelines and circumstances and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Nothing for you to do but sit passively and feel, expect nothing, notice everything, nothing to do. Your superconscious is doing all the work. You just stay and relax, nothing to do. You're doing great. Your river of desire, the boulders are already starting to dissolve. Do all aspects understand the benefits of treatment? Great, good, good. And superconscious, I want to see all the beliefs and rules from all timelines about self, others, and the world. Beliefs that you're not allowed, beliefs that you're not worthy, beliefs that you're not capable, belief that it's hard, beliefs that it doesn't work for me, but it works for others. Please treat all that's needed. Do massive change history. Thank you. You're doing amazing. A lot of shifts are happening and I feel the energy moving and being released. Just choose to let it go. Choose to get the most out of this. Choose to allow others to get the most out of this and just send your energy in the field as well for the highest good. Holding space. I want to treat the part personalities and resistance, including the inner child and the protector controller, the inner critic, the self-doubter, the wounded, the people pleaser, the procrastinator, the imposter, any part that feels unsafe. Do a massive change history for all the part personalities and sub-personalities and resistance of having this. Superconscious, please treat family history in the way that's causing resistance that's passed down from all generations in the perfect order and way. Thank you. Please also treat family entanglements as needed. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat events. There's an original event to treat. It's different for everyone here. Please treat it as needed. When we treat these events and treat all this, we keep the wisdom and we release what's not aligned with our end result for the highest good. Please treat as needed. Thank you. You're doing great. I feel a lot of energy moving here, so you're doing amazing. Let's keep going. Superconscious, do you see other events to treat? Tagging and treating events from all timelines, including trauma events, including trigger events, including fight, flight, freeze, response events. Please do a massive change history for all these events from all timelines, past, present, future, parallel timelines. There's no such thing as time, right? Superconscious treat all dimensions as needed. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Superconscious, do you see? Please treat definitions, please. Thank you. Do you see secondary intentions? Please treat. Thank you. Your superconscious is doing all the work for your highest good, giving you back your power. That is your birthright. Superconscious, can you treat all these emotions that are not aligned with being the predominant creative force? Treat the stress, treat the overwhelm, treat the fears, treat the lack that are based in lack. Please treat grief, guilt, shame, resentment. Treat all repressed emotions, suppressed emotions, and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat all sabotaging emotions of I am not enough. All the I am not enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. I'm not perfect enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not, what did we say? Perfect enough, not significant enough, don't belong enough. Do a massive change history for all the I'm not enoughs, including I'm not safe enough. Thank you. Please treat fear of judgment of self and others. Thank you. I'd like to treat the body systems, especially the chakra, the solar plexus. Superconscious, treat the solar plexus specifically. Do a massive change history as needed. Find, tag, and treat all chakras in need. Treat the upper chakras as well. And let's create a perfect treatment plan in a perfect order and way for the body. Balanced body, harmonious body, being in its predominant creative force alignment. Treat all energy systems, chakras, meridians, and all the systems in the body that are connected, as well as the organs. Do massive change history on all body systems. Thank you. Superconscious, can you treat the fear of being seen? Thank you. And do you see our own alignment with this choice? I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I want everyone to reconnect, keeping your eyes closed, just reconnect with that. Close your eyes, reconnect with that choice, feel into that. Superconscious, do you see this choice? I want to treat our own alignment with this, knowing that I'm allowed to be the predominant creative force in my life. It is safe to be the predominant creative force in my life. I choose it. I am capable of being the predominant creative force in my life. And I am the predominant creative force. Do a massive change history. Treat our own alignment with it. Thank you. I'd like to also treat any money beliefs and structures that are not aligned with the end result. Please treat. Thank you. And we're going to choose to be it now. And there's some parts that have just awakened, some aspects we'd like to ask if it's for the highest good for all the aspects to join. And if it is, and they join, let's repeat everything we've covered up until this point in this treatment. And we're going to do another sweep, do a massive change history as needed. Everything we've covered up until this point. Thank you. Great job, you guys. Keeping your eyes closed. We're almost done. You're doing amazing. Good. Going to ground and anchor in the new identity back into the matrix of the universe and find it, including everything we've touched on today. Continuing to release, forgive, transform, and detoxify while stepping into being the predominant creative force with ease as our new identity. Superconscious treat one last time, do a massive change history, and then please reground it all back when done. Thank you. We're going to, keeping our eyes closed, taking some deep breaths. Allowing everything to integrate back in the field, the energy field. And when you're ready, take your time. You can come back and let me know. Notice your old number and choosing to be the predominant creative force in your life. And taking a breath from that perspective. Carrie, you're amazing. You did a 10 to 0. Look at you. Being the predominant creative force in your life. Megan, you're first timer, I think. 10 to 6 is pretty good. Kim, 8 to 1. Some that have done this before are going to have lower numbers because their subconscious is already knowing how to receive the information with ease. It's just the first time. It's still amazing that you shifted some of those boulders. And actually, I feel that you're still shifting. Some of you are still breaking it, continuing. We got 8 to 1, 5 to 3, 5 to 2, 5 to 9.9. Did you go backwards, Greg? It should be 9 to 5. Did you go up or down? And Zara, what was your first number? You're welcome. I know we went over, but there's more if you want to get a free session, a free week in my group, so you can watch all of these and show up in recodes. There's one later on today. Michelle, 6 to 2. Amazing. And you're still processing. Oh, Crystal, my necklace is, this is amethyst. And this is a Tesla's pendant, which you're welcome to reach out. I can tell you a lot about. 5 to 2, 5 to 1, 5 to 3, 7 to 2. Great. We're moving lower. 8 to 1. It's been incredible. Awesome, Juniper. 7 to 2. Chris, good shift. Susie, 6 to 2.5. 10 and 1. Still processing. Love that, Sean. You couldn't even feel the end result. Now you know what it's like to be the predominant creative force. Do you see the next thing? And I know if some of you need to go, I understand and I appreciate it. There's still some more explaining to do. And as you're putting your numbers down, 9 to 6, feel amazing, Jackie. I love that feedback. Do you feel we need to take an action from your new identity, from being the predominant creative force? Notice your resistance and what comes to mind is another action to take. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel closer to having it? Brenda's 9.9 to 6, still processing. That's pretty good. 9.9 to 5, that's awesome. And you guys, you will continue processing. And, you know, drinking water is really important. Grounding, very important. And thanks, Jackie says she does want to know a little bit more. So if that's what you meant. Tears and laughter, says Brenda, without any memory or thoughts. Yes, because you are connected as the pure creative spirit in your human body right now. What, you know, welcome back to that memory of who you really are. It feels a lot lighter. It's a perfect way to set myself up for the day. It's my birthday morning in Australia. I love that, Megan. Thank you. Yes, chuckling too, feeling it possible. Get unstuck. So hey, shift happens, and we let you see how the transformation can happen. Imagine doing this on a weekly basis, twice a week. The path to transformation Does anyone want to see the path to transformation? We have a birthday girl. Cat's out of the bag. Brenda says, I am enough. Absolutely. You sure are. Your youngest is 29. Happy birthday to him too. Hey, Leos. So if anyone wants to see more, please stay because I want to give you a free week. If if you're new to this work. So here it is. So I Am Super Conscious Transformational Program is a 12-month live meditations, recode sessions. The replays work. We just keep showing up. It takes a lot less time. This is a whole full demo. Once you've gotten the whole full demo, you can just show it up by learning how to choose. We have choices for you to start with, like predominant creative force, life I love, living my true nature and purpose, and health and vitality. We first get you aligned with those, and then you become a conscious creator. Why does it take 12 months? Well, it kind of looks like this. I created the program with all my experience, my creations, my knowledge to bring you the last program you'll ever need. You won't need any more. And that's a big claim. And, think about all your woundings and subconscious blocks, how they've made prevented you from living life to the fullest. So I went from being stuck on a hamster wheel of life and releasing my resistances. Over time, I released my woundings and I spent thousands of dollars in certifications and in learnings and becoming a top coach for this $20 million company, being asked by the founder to coach his private clients I coached a couple of thousand sessions. And, I'm also a coach for coaches in the program while leading in group sessions as well. So with my own added energy, intuition work to hone in on your transformation, helping you release those deep-rooted emotions, your blocks, your trauma, and propel you in the fastest way to line up with your creation and your true nature and drastically improve your life. So the path to transformation is, the best step I ever took was the investment in myself. And I did it on a small nonprofit salary. So how many years have you held on to those old beliefs and programming? How many years would it take to unlearn it? What would you have to do to unlearn everything you've learned that you've been programmed? And in the dog world, we tell our adoptive parents, that when they take a new dog home to their house, it's much easier to create good new learnings than to, from the get-go, than to have to undo the bad ones later. So my program takes 12 months, but as you can see, we release right away. If you show up a couple times a week for recodes, we experience something like an S-curve. Like an S-curve looks like, this is what I say, what I've noticed clients to do. In the beginning, it's like this. We start by releasing. First, we just release our past, our limitations. And then from here, we create in the fastest way possible, because we released most of that junk. And now we understand. So it speeds up the creation. And then as we are in new uncharted territories, new things come up and we just show up, release them, take a step, right? Thanks, Greg. So again, this is how it works. It takes about 3 months to really deep release and go through that S-curve, go up and up and up, and really becoming a conscious creator. So about a week to do the 4 core choices of a life I love, repeating being the predominant creative force and all that. We get clear on your goals. We teach you and we help you learn what your true nature and purpose is. Like a lot of times we don't even know what our true nature and purpose is. And so that's what we do. After you release most of this in the first 3 months, then you start really just going, hey, this is what I'm going for. This is the action plan. We actually have a planner that looks like this. Well, you can have it in a notebook. You can print it out. You can just use a PDF. But this is not just a to-do list. It's a planner of, it'll get you to your goals in the fastest way possible. You don't have to do it, but it's highly recommended. I was very resistant to it in the beginning. So what would be your return on investment? Is, I like to say, there's nothing to invest in today. But let's say you took a free week and you chose to show up. Okay. What would life be like if you didn't? If you stopped focusing on all that's wrong with you and focused on what you'd love to have, on a life you love? What would you avert in the future? What would you prevent from happening? Would it be illness? Would you be your immune system? Would it be stress, overwhelm? Would you save time and energy? What would you take all that stuff that was wounded in you that you've kept for 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever many years you've held on to the old identities, and suddenly let them go in the fastest way possible, right? What would that be like? Well, even if you did 1 week for free, what would in that 1 year's time, how would things change? What about 3 years? What about 5 years? How would things be different? So once I created this, when I show up to do group sessions, here are some of the things that people are saying that I've shown you some, and I can show you a tons more. It's endless how people get results, and it is life-changing. Now, thank you. Now, yeah. So I'm going to just show you how to use this program and just show you what it's like and what I want. If I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to allow you to give me your information to get in here. So quickly, where is it? Here it is. And I'm just going to share my screen. You get a little welcome from me. And then there are so many things that you go through. There's intro lessons here, and how to go through the program. These are short. You see 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 12 minutes, just short. There's just relearning and reorientating to this learning. And you can go back and go through. Remember, I said that there's 4. See the predominant creative force, how to go through the 4 core choices, life I love, just reorientate yourself with a life I love, right? Finding your true nature and purpose, health and vitality, right? We have meditations that you can do. And actually we meditate every day under 20 minutes, not 2 hours, just to teach our subconscious when it arrives that it's safe. Look at this. This is how to be in true choices. This is how to use our tracking point notebook, how to create true goals, and how to go for what you love, and what steps you need to take. And this, look at, it's endless amount. What's going on? Hey, where did this go? I don't know. Maybe a little oh, here it is. So we have these. Look at all these. We have all these lessons. They are based in NLP, neural and linguistic patterns. There's health and vitality. There's recodes. There's anchoring. There's the new you that are becoming. Look at this. There's letting go of fear of poverty. There's inner fire. There's money beliefs and structures. There's family entanglements and family patterns and trauma to release. There's a morning ritual that you can learn how to do. There is so much. Is it a rolling enrollment, or does it have to start? And you could do a monthly subscription if that's what you're asking, but you can just have the week. You don't have to do anything. If you do want it though, I want you to switch. Instead of going from everyone, I want you to toggle to host and panelists. Type in your name and email for me. You don't have to share that with everyone, but and then another thing, I'm not going to show you everything here now, but I want you to also share this. My Facebook, we have a Facebook community. It's small. And we check in every day. I do my lives. I have a live later on today at 4 actually Pacific time. And I post them here. And there's a guides of how to start, how to work. You see everything that you saw on the website is in here in the guides. Not to mention there's community. Community is important because, and I post tons of reminders every day. You check in to keep you aligned, okay? To keep you aligned so you know we are reminded. Thank you. So with that being said, I much appreciate you. And thank you so much. And let's do this again soon. I'll be in the group at 4. Bye.